let's do it.
Drink
Let's
two
do the
beers.
AFL Grand Final.
Okay.
Rich Ward.
The pinnacle of the AFL season comes down to this. Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. at the MCG, the Richmond Tigers taking on the Greater Western Sydney Giants.
Hey, why are they both there? Richmond, I feel, came good at the right time of the year.
Spot on.
GWS, why are they there?
Grit.
Yeah, they lost. They lost a lot of good players in the lead up to the finals towards probably that last quarter of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for me they're just they're quite a selfless team. They really do. Like I said to you, and I this is no knock on AFL tackling or anything like that, but it's more effective tackling in the NRL, and I always found that the Sydney teams are a lot more blue collar in regards to their tackling and their physical work.
They're a bit soft in Melbourne. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I don't. No, I don't know. I've got no idea. I don't know if the Sydney teams have access to NRL players. I know as much as so many people are one coat or the other, actually throughout the clubs, a lot of AFL clubs use NRL players, and probably the other way around even more so. A lot of NRL clubs use AFL players to teach certain skill sets and things like that. I think Billy Slater's even some sort of coach at St Kilda now.
Yeah.
So it is. I think the Giants, they have their own style of play, which is they try and start as fast as they can, which is great because Richmond actually do the same. Richmond are a forward-flowing game. Try and take marks around that 50 to 30 metre mark and then go. Where Geelong are a free-flowing straight into the 50. GWS, free-flowing straight into the 50, and then they scrap goals together. But they've got little players that can do that.
And Green's back.
Yeah, exactly right. And that, I think the strength, if you look at the top 10 of the Brownlow, they're all, maybe besides Brodie Grundy, who's a ruckman, they're all goal-kicking mids. And GWS, Toby Green, Caniglio, Kelly, like there's half a dozen of them that do that. So, yeah, both of them definitely deserve to be here.
Is the mountain that GWS face, being Richmond,
Yeah.
is it too much? Too high?
Yeah,
Without giving too much away?
look, I do. I think Richmond win this, to be honest with you. But it's they took. You got to win one to lose one. They say. I think that's the saying across all
You
codes.
got to lose one to win one.
Lose
isn't
one
it?
to win one. What did I say?
You got to win one to lose one.
You got to lose one. I've had a couple of beers. You got to lose
Couple of
one to win
zeros.
one, and I think that
I'm
I don't
hoping
know if
that
I
for
can drive.
Tottenham in the Champions League. But anyway,
We're not. You said at the beginning of the show we're not allowed to talk about Tottenham.
I
and
said
how
you're
they
not
went.
allowed to.
Okay, sorry.
Just me.
Because
They got,
Tottenham aren't very good.
no, they just
Shut up.
not. They are good. They just got beaten
They
last
got
night
beaten.
by a Division
Anyway,
2.
League-
Sorry,
Was it my team?
No.
Norwich?
It's the same league.
Norwich.
Don't worry about your team.
Yeah, I do. I think this would be such an emotional roller coaster for them. Richmond were here 2 years ago, and it was for them then. They rode that motivation. They came out. They blitzed Adelaide, but
Yeah.
that said more about Adelaide than I think it did about Richmond, and people will go off me about that. But regardless, I think they've had a lot of distractions coming into this. Toby Green getting fined, and then if he's going to get suspended, then he gets suspended. Then they appeal. They had Lockie Whitfield, who I know people didn't like this, but he's a defending. He can go into midfield, but he's a defender. But he is one of their. I think he's their most important defender, even over Phil and Haynes. But they've had a lot of distractions leading into it. I'm backing Richmond, but I would love to see GWS win this. I think you're probably the same. I know you are
Yeah, I kind of
liking
can't
it.
lose.
Yeah.
Really.
If
I
they
think
win,
yeah.
I mean, I can. I had a big bet on Richmond. But I'll tell you about it before. But GWS, if they do this is as good as the Bulldogs of 16. This is as big a fairy tale as that. I know they didn't come from 8th or 7th and come in. And they were there very early, GWS. They slowed down on the back end of the season, injuries, distractions, tired. They just didn't get out of that winter rut. But they are back. There's 30,000 GWS fans. Like, that's a great membership hub for a Sydney team that has had, I don't know how long they've been around, 8 years?
Yeah, not that long.
So, and they had an open training session yesterday, and there was fans out in droves, and they got schools there, and it was just, this is going to be a fantastic grand final. I really hope it isn't a blowout. I don't think it will be. I haven't looked at the weather on Saturday, by the way, but
I looked at Sydney's weather. I didn't look at Melbourne's.
Are you going to have a bet in the Norm Smith medal?
yeah, I've got one for you.
Is it Dusty?
Dusty.
I've stayed away from. Okay, this is my predicament. Is DeBoer is the tagger for GWS, so he's going to go to one of the midfielders and he's going to try and shut him down as much as possible. It's what we said should have happened to Dusty last week. And I was a bit flippant about, they should do this with Dusty. But as soon as they put anyone on Dusty to tag him, he moves forward and kicks goals. So it is very hard. I think they will still try and put someone on Dustin Martin to limit him. But that opens up the human meatball.
Who's the meatball?
Dion Prestia.
Dion, second favourite for me.
Is he second? He was the third before.
Look,
there's 2 or 3 around that $10, $11 marks.
Stop
there
letting your tip out before the podcast.
Should be Don Prestia. What?
Because you let your tip out and then people back it and then it
go in.
tightens up.
I like Dion Prestia. I like Tom Lynch. I think they're around the $10, $11 mark.
10 and 10. Both second pick on Sportsbet.
Yeah, okay.
Stop
I just
emailing them your tips.
What was Dustin? He's about $4 or $5.
$6.50.
$6.50. Oh, that's all right. Take that.
Take it.
It'll be one of those guys. Look,
I'm going to take that. I'm not going to have a bet in the game, but I'll take that. Well, I'm not going to have a straight out bet, but I'll take that and watch it and cheer Dusty on every time he gets the ball.
If you're going to take it, take Dustin with Norm Smith with Tigers to win.
Well, what I like,
if they lose.
No,
Daly Cherry Evans won.
Very rarely
Clive
do
Churchill.
you win the Norm Smith in a losing grand final. Anyway,
Yeah, it's the same with the Clive Churchill, but Daly, the greatest player of all,
he's good.
Are you going to say he's the greatest player of all time?
was the best player in the game at the moment.
Hey, with the best player in the game,
It's not all over yet.
Get a penalty because they didn't kick the drop out in the game clock.
Yeah,
He's the best
Allocated
player
time,
They need
and
to
they're
review
losing
that.
too, so they had time to burn.
Run the
This is
clock
our time.
down.
Yeah, run the clock down.
Um,
We lost.
I like Dion Preston,
Smart.
Norm Smith, Basher Hooley. You got a price for Basher Hooley? He's someone that can come in and really be
my,
0%. We've got to put rules in place now, don't
Basher, $11.
we? Okay. One of those guys. Look, I'm going to go a fairly simple same game multi. I'm going to go Richmond win
Rich what?
at $1.44, and I'm going to go Trent Cotchin anytime goal scorer. He isn't a big goal
Koch.
scorer, the Koch, but I think I can just see it being third quarter. They need that lift. Koch takes a mark on the 50. Needs that captain's goal.
Boots the skin off it.
Yeah. I can just see it. He's paying $3.
All right, let's do it.
What is that? 3 times 144.
Come on, Borgy, do it in your head.
Do it in your head.
95 and 435 minus a couple of cents.
So I'll put it down the
Beautiful.
thing
Boost
when I
it.
cut this up. Down Preston, Norm Smith. That's where my bet's going to go. Might even have a little kick at Cotchin, Norm Smith. I've done well in the past with Norm Smith, to be honest. What is it, 432?
432.
432. I don't know. To be real honest with you, I'm going to have 1,000 bets on this game. See what comes up.
How good. You can do
Gamble
racing.
responsibly.
You can do
Gamble
like
responsibly.
multis, racing across AFL.
Yeah.
Look,
wait
next
till
goal
this
scorer
multi.
up-
Wait
all
till
up
this
the
multi
next
we're about to
Randwick.
give you. Hold on, let me put it in.
Rosehill, sorry.
Look, I'm really looking forward to this game.